Uh, Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are Group 6. This is my group member, Luis. My name is Lights, F-A-Y-Z. Our group assignment was to analyze dry seafood market in Hong Kong. And so we went to a very famous street in Hong Kong. It's called the French Des Rois, right? For those of you who know French, maybe you can correct me later. So as we went to one store to another, these are the list of products that we encountered the most. These are the most often sold products in most of the stores in dry seafood market, like dry shrimp, shiitake, dry fish maw, abalone, and so on. So just to give you an idea of what the products are available in dry seafood market. As far as the customers, we divided them into two major types. Like there are stores who concentrate on getting orders from restaurants or hotels, and they do also get orders from local individual customers, but most of their concentration is on restaurants and hotels. And the other type of customers, or the stores that we divided, was retail stores that concentrate on getting orders from local customers and also from some tourists. Actually, one of the owners of one of the stores told us that most of his stores come from the mainland China, and we asked him what the reason was, and he told us that there are a lot of issues with seafood, dry seafood market having a lot of fake products in mainland China, and he said that is the reason why a lot of people from tourists come from mainland China to his store. As far as the why they actually all located on that area is because it provides efficiency and reduces transaction costs for the stores because they're located in one long street, and the supply of products is easier, it's more efficient, it reduces transaction costs. And the second reason that most of the stores in that region are big, but some of the stores are small. And when we ask the owners of small stores why they actually sell here, how can you possibly compete with those big stores? He said that this street is real famous, and we just enjoy the free riding opportunity. You know, we have the brand name. A lot of people come here. We have the highest concentration of customers, so we just enjoy the opportunity of having free ride. And the last but not least, the convenient location. As you all know, dry seafood is actually pretty expensive, and most of their customers actually come from Central District. A lot of businessmen, a lot of people who earn above average income. So that's one of the reasons why they actually are located in that region, because they enjoy the highest concentration of wealthy people in that region. And as far as the competition in the market, we came to believe that the market is perfectly competitive because the stores do not actually come together and try to set certain prices, or they do not actually want to come into non-compete terms. So it's perfectly fair market, and most of the stores actually have the same product types. So what they actually do is try to create customer relationship, and that's how they actually try to stand out from other stores. For the most part, they have repeat customers, and the quality is quite negligible, but the products are pretty much the same.
Right. Regarding why the market operations, one of the questions Professor Morris proposed to our group is that why those stores cluster in so tiny a neighborhood. And we found that there are actually historical reasons behind the cluster. And historically, the area where the small street is located, the Sheung Wan area, used to be a CBD of Hong Kong for Chinese back in the late 19th century, instead of the central area crowded with skyscrapers, which is now the CBD of Hong Kong. Back in 19th century, CBD is actually in Sheung Wan, and there are many wealthy Chinese, usually businessmen doing other businesses located in this area. So the seafood store actually had a large customer group around this area. And one of the biggest advantages of Gazvall Street compared to other streets in the Sheung Wan area is that it's right beside, it used to be right beside the Delta Pier, a major pier in Hong Kong back in the late 19th century. So it's rather convenient for ships from Southeast Asia or South China to carry a whole boatloads of dried seafood and then dock here, and then they loaded the seafood and then they transported the seafood to the stores, and the stores could sell or reprocess them. So these were the historical backgrounds, and although as time passed by, the Hong Kong's business gradually transferred to the central area, but the seafood market actually stayed there because of this historical connection. And Faisal has already talked about the homogeneity of products that are sold in the shops in the seafood markets. And so we also found that unique shops are actually a minority. We could only pick two examples. One is Tong Hing Tai or Tong Hing Tai Hong in Cantonese. It is the most famous and most historical shop around the seafood street, established in 1919. And the shop owner is the old man. Yeah, this is the Tong Hing Tai Hong or Tong Hing Tai Hong, and this is the shop owner, some 70-year-old man, second generation of business, inherited the shop from his father. And the other is something that I'm going to talk about is Yu Wo Salted Meat and Grocery Store. This Yu Wo is actually one of the few stores that sell salted meat and grocery instead of seafood in the dried seafood market, and they had this kind of like unique differentiation strategy. But these are the minorities, and for the most part, quality differences is actually negligible. We found like strikingly similar products in various shops: Japanese abalone, U.S. ginseng, Southeast Asian fish malls. You could find that there are price differences, but the product species are basically the same, and substitutes are equal in price and supply. And for foreigners, or the first time, or those in our group that came to Hong Kong first time, they realized that atmospheres in different shops are rather similar. You could smell all those somewhat stinky smells from seafood, and there's no much like fancy decoration. They're just plain shop, and they put everything on the shelf, and you see what you want to buy. So I'm going to analyze a little bit in depth for you the Yu Wo case, how they differentiate. The major products of Yu Wo are not seafood actually, but somewhat disgusting stuff here. Salt preserved duck's leg, duck's kidney, disgusting, right? And goose liver sausages. But the reason why they do this is that two of the major kinds of luxury products required to cook at Cantonese festival dinners are dried seafood and salt preserved goods. So this area, the area of Gazvall Street is majorly for seafood, but buyers who come to Gazvall Street actually also require salt preserved meat elsewhere. They just come to Gazvall Seafood Street to concentrate their purchasing on the seafood. But it is natural that they also want to pick up some of the salt preserved meat. You know why? If you could buy both things in one place, why bother to go elsewhere? So you will actually focus on doing this kind of business. But one of the little tricks that they use is that they also have these pieces, not many compared to other shops that concentrate on seafood selling, but they have salted fish as well. They have shrimp sauces that we actually saw yesterday in Tai O, and they have this smaller pieces, less fried fish malls that are good for like small families. So the shop owner actually told me that he's betting on the opportunity that if the buyers came for dried seafood, they would buy dried seafood first, but they also want to pick up a piece or two of the salt preserved products that they have in the Yu Wo shop. But after they come into the shop, they saw, oh, there are also this tiny little lovely seafood here. So it's good for my small family of 2 or 3. So why don't I just buy it here and save the trouble, buying it at Tong Hing Tai, that kind of Tohin Thai shops that sell very expensive products. So, but these are the minorities. This is literally the only differentiation strategies that we realize in the small street, and the rest are unseen. So yeah, it's a unique business. So yeah.
Thanks for your attention. And any questions?